Troy Mays was born in Lancaster, PA, in October of 1965. He has two sisters and one brother, none of which joined the Army. His mother was an office manager at Yeager Labs, but he didn't know his father too well. When Mays was 18 years of age, he decided to join the Army. He enlisted, as there was no mandatory draft at the time. His reason to join the service revolved around the chance to receive a quality education. When he departed from home on his way to boot camp, he was excited. He chose to view it as a way to get away from home. He was able to describe boot camp for me in a single word: intense. He explained that in the Army, it was a bunch of men joining together for the first time, trying to work together efficiently as a well-oiled machine. It was, admittedly, quite difficult at first, but for him, the physical part was the hardest. Training was extremely vigorous, and if the soldiers weren't used to all the exercise, it could be excruciating. There would be times when the soldiers in training would run 5 or more miles in a day, but with all the push-ups, sit-ups, and the running put aside, Mays was also taught how to handle and fire artillery. The two main weapons he was taught how to handle were the M16 and the M203 grenade launcher. Mays was able to recall a time when he even got the privilege to throw a hand grenade. In boot camp, the training instructors were fierce and extremely strict. He remembered the names of two of them, Staff Sergeant Davis and Staff Sergeant Burnett, and described them both as tough individuals. Mays recounted,
Tough. Very tough. Very tough. Our one drill sergeant used to run around us as we were running in formation. He would run around us the whole time while singing cadence. He was one tough guy. Yeah.
After boot camp, Mays moved on to AIT, also known as Advanced Individual Training. He majored as a radar mechanic, where he learned a bunch about technology in the Army. He was also taught how to repair equipment and generators, and learned that the system was very old and dated back to the Vietnam War. It was, more specifically, a two-set firefinder. If someone were to fire his or her artillery, the radar would pick up on it and pinpoint its location. In the military, Mays had no choice but to adapt to his new lifestyle, and fast. He told me it was a sink or swim kind of thing. You either did or they got you out. He recalls that there were a few people who just didn't make it through, but explains that it wasn't a dishonorable discharge. They were just unable to meet the standards that were necessary to continue playing a part in the military. Troy told me that, while in the military, the thing he missed the most about home was his mother's cooking. Chow in the military was okay, he added, but it was not like Mom's cooking. May served in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, Fort Drum, and Fort A.P. Hill in Virginia. He was a peacetime soldier. Therefore, he served on no front lines and did not witness any combat. He explains, what battle, war, or conflict did you serve during?
I was a peacetime soldier, so there was really nothing going on in the mid-'80s. I enlisted right after Grenada, when we invaded Grenada. But that was the only thing going on, and that was before my time. Like I said, I was a peacetime soldier. I consider myself very lucky.
He considers himself very lucky that he didn't have to be a part of or bear witness to the violence that comes with war. And although he didn't specifically use any weapons for combat, he was still trained on how to use them. Mays was trained more specifically on how to use the M16, the M203 grenade launcher, the M60, and a 50 caliber machine gun. The 50 caliber machine gun, he told me, was his favorite. He found it to be a truly fascinating weapon. In the Army, the highest rank he had ever achieved was the E3. He told me that the E3 stands for the PFC, or Private First Class. He recounts that he earned an award back in boot camp for graduating earlier than everyone else. He had to study hard to receive that medal. And for recreation in the service, Mays and his fellow soldiers would watch MTV, which would play a lot of music videos. Back when Mays' time in service was over, he was shipped back home. He was received well by other citizens, just as a normal person. Mays had no trouble whatsoever adapting back to military life, and soon began working with and fixing auto equipment. He maintains no contact with his fellow veterans, but says that his experience with the military was not negative. Mays would serve again in a heartbeat if he got the chance. His message to all young Americans inspired to join the military is do it. You won't regret it. Thank you, Troy Mays, for your service to your country.